Every day begins with an intention. Before the first step is taken, before the first word is spoken, there is that quiet moment inside the heart, the moment of niyyah. The Prophet Muhammad DFA taught us that actions are judged by intentions. It's such a simple statement, yet it defines the difference between living purposefully and merely existing. When your intention is sincere, when your goal is to please Allah DFB, every ordinary act becomes extraordinary. Eating, working, studying, helping, even resting, all of it can become worship when the heart is aligned with divine purpose. But intention is not just a formality you say once and forget. It's a mindset you cultivate. Many of us begin our day with a routine, but rarely do we pause and ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Am I waking up to chase the world, or am I waking up to serve Allah through my actions today? That single question can transform how you see your life. It can turn frustration into patience, distraction into focus, and exhaustion into reward. Sincere intention also keeps you grounded. In a world obsessed with appearance, where people seek validation through likes, followers, and recognition, the believer's strength lies in doing good quietly for Allah alone. You're not defined by how many people see your effort. You're defined by how sincerely you do it. The moment you shift your focus from public approval to divine acceptance, you free yourself from anxiety and comparison. Suddenly, improvement becomes personal. It's no longer about being better than others, but better than yesterday. From a psychological perspective, intention works like an internal compass. It gives direction and meaning to what you do. Without it, life feels random. You go through motions without progress. But with it, every step becomes part of a greater journey. Even your mistakes take on purpose, because when you fall, you learn, and when you learn, you grow closer to Allah. The sincere believer doesn't aim for perfection. He aims for sincerity, and Allah perfects his effort. And from a spiritual lens, intention connects you to the unseen. When you start your day with Bismillah, you're declaring that your time, energy, and ambitions belong to Allah. You're reminding your soul that success isn't measured by material gain, but by the purity of the heart. You can spend your whole day in what seems like mundane tasks, but if they're done with sincerity, they echo in eternity. So before seeking to be better than yesterday, ask yourself, why do I want to improve? If it's for fame or ego, it will drain you. But if it's for Allah, if your aim is to become a person who pleases Him, who reflects His mercy, who brings light to others, then every step you take becomes sacred. Remember this, sincerity doesn't just change your actions, it changes your entire state of being. The heart that begins with a pure intention ends the day at peace, because it knows, whatever the outcome, Allah saw the effort. And when Allah sees sincerity in your heart, even your smallest deeds can carry the weight of greatness. One of the most transformative habits a believer can develop is muhasabah. Self-accountability. It's the art of taking yourself to account before others do, before even Allah does. Umar ibn al-Khattab famously said, "Take account of yourselves before you are taken to account." That advice isn't just a warning, it's a roadmap to self-awareness. Because real growth doesn't begin when life gets easier. It begins when you start being honest with yourself. We live in a world that teaches us to justify our behavior, to blame circumstances or people, to explain away our weaknesses. But self-accountability flips that entirely. It asks you to pause, to look inward, and to ask, what part of this is mine to fix? It's not about guilt, it's about responsibility. You see, guilt can trap you in shame, but accountability sets you free. It's the moment you stop, running from your shortcomings, and start walking towards self-improvement with humility and courage. In Islam, muhasabah isn't just a moral exercise, it's a spiritual discipline. The one who regularly examines their heart and actions develops what the Quran calls a nafs al-lawwama, the self-reproaching soul. This is not a weak or self-loathing state, it's a sign of spiritual vitality. It means your conscience is alive, alert, and responsive. When you slip, it reminds you. When you harm, it calls you to make amends. When you do good, it pushes you to do better. It is the inner voice Allah placed in each of us, calling us back to what's right. From a psychological point of view, self-accountability builds integrity and emotional maturity. It forces you to confront uncomfortable truths, and that's where real strength lies. The most dangerous person is not the one who sins, but the one who refuses to admit it. Every time you take ownership of a mistake, you reclaim control over your life. You stop being a victim of your impulses and start becoming the author of your choices. This practice also deepens your connection with Allah. When you regularly review your day, your words, your prayers, your dealings with people, you begin to see patterns. You notice where your intentions wavered, where your patience broke, where your ego spoke louder than your faith. That awareness is a mercy from Allah because you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. Every night, a few moments of reflection can purify the heart more than hours of external activity. It's not about perfection, it's about progress through awareness. And here's something profound: the more you hold yourself accountable now, the lighter your accountability will be on the day of judgment. Allah loves those who turn back, who reflect, who seek forgiveness. Self-accountability is not self-punishment, it's self-respect. It's a sign that you value your soul enough to keep it clean. So before your head touches the pillow tonight, ask yourself gently, did I please Allah today? Did I wrong anyone? Did I waste time that could have been used better? These questions aren't meant to discourage you, they're meant to awaken you. Because a believer who checks himself daily never strays too far from the path. When you dare to face your reflection with honesty, you'll find that the greatest critic and the greatest teacher you'll ever have is you. One of the most beautiful gifts Allah has given humanity is the ability to learn. Knowledge is not just information, it's light. It illuminates the heart, refines the mind, and guides the soul toward truth. The Prophet Muhammad (f.d.f.a.) said, "Whoever travels a path seeking knowledge, Allah will make easy for him a path to paradise." Notice that it's not just about reaching a destination, it's about walking a path. Improvement in life is a continuous journey of seeking, reflecting, and applying. In our time, knowledge is everywhere, on screens, in books, in conversations, yet true understanding is rare. Why? Because we've mistaken information for transformation. Learning, in Islam, is not about collecting facts or quoting scholars. It's about internalizing wisdom until it changes who you are. Real knowledge humbles you. It softens your heart. It makes you aware of how much you still don't know. The more a person learns sincerely, the more they recognize their need for Allah. The Quran constantly invites us to think, to reflect, to observe. Allah asks, do they not reflect? Not just about religious matters, but about life, creation, purpose, and morality. This shows that Islam values intellectual growth as a form of worship. When you learn something beneficial, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or practical, and you do it with the intention to become a better servant of Allah, that act becomes sacred. Even studying your profession or understanding the world around you can be an act of ibadah when your purpose is to serve others and please Allah through excellence. But the true test of knowledge is not in how much you can speak. It's in how you live. The Prophet letter F. D. If they warned us that the Quran could either be a proof for us or against us, meaning if we know but don't act, our knowledge becomes a burden instead of a blessing. It's easy to attend lectures, read books, or share inspiring quotes. The challenge is to let that knowledge penetrate the heart and guide your daily conduct. How you speak, how you forgive, how you treat people, how you respond to hardship. From a psychological perspective, consistent learning rewires the brain. It keeps your mind sharp, your perspective open, and your habits growing. Spiritually, it keeps your faith alive. The moment you stop learning, your heart starts to harden because it no longer receives the nourishment it needs. The scholars of the past used to say, if you are not increasing in knowledge, you are decreasing in faith. That's because learning is what keeps the soul progressing, not stagnating. So, don't underestimate the power of small, steady learning. Read a verse, listen to a reminder, ask a question, reflect on an ayah, but most importantly, apply what you learn. When knowledge turns into action, it becomes wisdom, and when wisdom is shared sincerely, it becomes legacy. Because knowledge that stays in the mind dies with you, but knowledge that lives through your actions continues to benefit you long after you're gone. If there's one relationship that defines the quality of your life and the peace in your heart, it's your relationship with Allah letter F, DFB. Everything else flows from it, your purpose, your stability, your sense of direction. Without that connection, even the best of lives feels empty. With it, even the hardest of challenges become bearable. Allah says in the Quran, "Remember me, and I will remember you." What a powerful promise! The Creator of the universe remembers you when you take a moment to remember Him. Strengthening your relationship with Allah doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world or living without joy. It means aligning your heart with the one who controls all things. It's about seeing every experience, success or struggle, as an opportunity to draw nearer to Him. When you build that awareness, everything changes. Your prayers become conversations, not rituals. Your hardships become lessons, not punishments. And your gratitude becomes deeper, because you start to see His mercy, even in the smallest details of your life. Spiritually speaking, the human soul craves connection. We try to fill that emptiness with people, achievements, or possessions, but none of it lasts. The heart was designed to find peace only in the remembrance of Allah. The Quran says, indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. And that's not just poetry, it's reality. From a psychological perspective, consistent remembrance, D. Hicker trains the mind to focus on hope rather than fear, trust rather than anxiety. It's a form of mindfulness rooted in faith, one that calms the inner chaos of modern life. When you strengthen your bond with Allah, you also strengthen your character. You become more patient because you trust His timing. You become more forgiving because you remember His mercy toward you. You stop competing for worldly validation because you're content with His approval. Faith doesn't make life perfect. It gives you the perspective to see perfection in Allah's plan. And when that trust becomes firm, you begin to see challenges as invitations, opportunities to prove your resilience and to rely more deeply on Him. Practically, improving your relationship with Allah starts with small, consistent steps. Pray on time, even if you're struggling. Read a few verses of Quran daily, even if it's just one page. Speak to Allah in dua as you would to your closest friend, because He already knows what's in your heart. These little acts, done consistently, build a spiritual foundation that nothing can shake. The Prophet letter F. D. F. said, "The most beloved deeds to Allah are those done consistently, even if they are small." It's not the quantity of worship, but the sincerity behind it that nourishes the soul. So, take time every day to reconnect through prayer, remembrance, reflection. Remind your heart that no matter how busy life gets, peace will always come from turning back to the one who created you. Because when your heart is anchored to Allah, no storm, no loss, no fear, no failure can ever pull you away. True self-improvement is never just about you. It's about how your growth ripples outward and benefits the world around you. Islam beautifully ties personal development with service to others. The Prophet, Muhammad F.D.F.A. said, "The best of people are those who are most beneficial to others." That means your success, your knowledge, your strength, all of it gains meaning only when it becomes a source of good for someone else. Serving others is not a distraction from self-growth, it's a catalyst for it. When you help people sincerely, you refine your own heart. You learn empathy, humility, and gratitude, qualities that no book or lecture alone can teach. Think about it. When you lift someone else's burden, you're not losing energy, you're expanding your soul. When you make someone smile, you're healing parts of yourself that you didn't even know were hurting. The beauty of Islam is that it connects personal betterment to collective well-being. You cannot become truly better if your improvement doesn't make life a little easier, a little brighter for those around you. From a psychological perspective, serving others nurtures happiness and meaning. Studies show that acts of kindness increase serotonin and reduce stress, but Islam taught us this centuries ago. When you give, you're not just offering material help, you're nourishing your own heart. And when you give for the sake of Allah, expecting no recognition in return, the act becomes even more powerful. Allah says in the Quran, "Whatever you spend in good, it will be fully repaid to you, and you will not be wronged." Meaning, no kindness is ever lost. Even if people forget, Allah remembers. Philosophically, service to others reflects a higher understanding of purpose. Life is not about accumulating, it's about contributing. Every breath you take is a chance to add value, to comfort, to guide, to inspire. You don't need wealth or position to serve. Sometimes, the most profound acts of goodness are the smallest. A kind word, a smile, a sincere prayer for someone, or forgiving a person who hurt you. These are quiet acts that carry immense spiritual weight. The Prophet F.D.F.A. said, "Do not belittle any good deed, even meeting your brother with a cheerful face." When you adopt this mindset, self-improvement becomes an act of compassion. You wake up each day asking, "How can I make someone's life a little better today?" That shift transforms your entire purpose. You begin to see your own challenges differently, not as punishments, but as training grounds to make you wiser and more compassionate for others. Every hardship you overcome becomes a lesson you can use to uplift someone else. So, as you strive to be better than yesterday, remember, your growth is not meant to end with you. It's meant to pass through you to reach your family, your community, your ummah, and even those who don't know you. True success is not in how high you climb, but in how many hands you extend on your way up. Because in serving others sincerely for the sake of Allah, you don't just change their lives, you purify your own. Life is a journey of constant movement, up and down, forward and back, and one who understands this never loses hope. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Do not lose hope, nor be sad. You will surely be victorious if you are true believers." This verse is a reminder that life was never meant to be a smooth line. It's meant to test your faith, patience, and resilience. The goal is not to live without struggle. It's to face struggle with the certainty that Allah is with you through it. Every day brings its own set of challenges. Some days you feel strong, confident, full of purpose. Other days you feel like you're barely holding on. And that's okay. The journey of self-improvement isn't about being perfect every day. It's about refusing to give up on yourself when you're not. The Prophet Muhammad letter F.D.F.A. taught us that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if they are small. That means what matters most is not intensity, but consistency, the quiet determination to keep going even when your motivation fades. From a psychological point of view, hope and perseverance are what keep the human mind alive. When you lose hope, you lose perspective. When you give up, you lose the opportunity to grow. But when you keep moving even one small step forward, you tell your soul, I believe in Allah's mercy more than I believe in my failures. Every setback then becomes a stepping stone, every delay a form of preparation. Allah doesn't deny, He redirects. And when you truly understand that, you stop seeing obstacles as walls and start seeing them as detours towards something better. Faith teaches us that every pain, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries meaning. Allah never wastes your tears. Sometimes He breaks your plans to protect you. Sometimes He delays your dream to strengthen you. And sometimes He puts you through darkness so you can recognize His light when it comes. That's why believers are never truly defeated, because even in their losses they find lessons. Even in their silence they find prayer. So be patient with your process. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be either. Celebrate small victories, seek forgiveness when you fall, start again when you slip. Improvement is not about speed, it's about sincerity. As long as your heart is still striving, Allah's door is still open. The Quran promises, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Notice that Allah doesn't say after hardship, but with it meaning the relief is already intertwined with the test. You just have to keep walking until you find it. So, when you feel tired, remember who you're doing it for. You're not trying to impress people. You're trying to become the person Allah knows you can be. Keep your eyes on Him and let your effort be your prayer. Because every time you rise after falling, you prove that faith is stronger than failure, and that's how you become better than yesterday.